Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is hole number 14 of the Winter Major 2022 Expert Division opening round. So for this hole, there's actually going to be two different options. However, both options are going to have the same setup for the drive. So I'm going to show you the drive setup. Pause this real quick. Show you the drive setup, and then discuss the differences in how your drive ends up, which will determine which approach you want to take. So let's go through the drive real quick, and then I'll show you kind of both potential outcomes you might get, and then we'll go through the approaches. All right, so for our tee shot, we want to use an APOC level 4 and above and a berserker ball. We're going to apply 5.8 topspin with 2 right spin. With an APOC 5 and above, we're going to set up at the top of the plus 24 yard position. APOC level 4 will be the top of the plus 30 yard position. And with our APOC level 8, we've got the yellow ring touching the fairway. Our adjustment is going to be P5 max plus 10% elevation. And then with our APOC level 8, we're going to push forward 8 rings after our adjustment. Make sure with different levels of accuracy that you account for the change in ring push. Then we're going to apply max overpower with 0.8 ball right curl. We hit great left, but should still be plenty safe to get to the next fairway. We're going to land at the end, near the end of the fairway, bounce over, clip the rough, and then we're actually going to get kind of a dead hop and catch it on the third bounce and just trickle out into the fairway for a drive distance of 418 yards. All right, so this is the first potential outcome for our drive. So I'm going to go to the other potential outcome, and I'm just going to zip through all the setup because, like I said, it's going to be the exact same setup, but the outcome will be different. So max OP, pointed ball right curl. I think we hit great right just now. So same thing, we're going to land in the fairway, bounce over the bunker and rough and everything, water. Only now we're going to get a kind of a good rollout into the fairway, and our drive distance is going to be 442. So between the two potential outcomes for your drive, one is going to be, less than 430 yards, and one is going to be greater than 430 yards. That's kind of the cutoff you're looking for. So now we're going to take a look at our first approach option when you have a drive that's less than 430 yards. So this is going to be a bounce up option. All right, so for our approach, for the bounce up option, we want to use a Grizzly level 7 and above. We're going to apply 1 bar of backspin with a half a bar of right spin, and then we're going to position ourselves with our second bounce on the fringe and our ball guide rolling out towards the hole. So the ball guide doesn't reach the hole, so we kind of have to visualize the remaining rollout, and you can see that it curves to the right. And now we're going to use our landing position plus yards to determine our slider percentage. We are at plus 5 yards, which would be plus 8 yards with a Grizzly 7 and 8. So we're going to play this approach at P4 plus 0% elevation at 73% slider. And that's using Grizzly 9 numbers. Then we're going to center the ball and hit perfect. Ball is going to land in the fairway, bounce up towards the green. And we are going to just miss on the right side and then do a 360 around the cup. So very close. I think just a little bit more 1159. Potentially you could add, 0.1 to your adjustment or just pull a little bit more 1159. So either way, definitely very close. Good opportunity for the albatross. So again, that was for a short drive that barely kind of trickles out of the rough. Something that's less than 430 yards. So now we'll look at our second drive that ended at 442 and how we'll play that approach. So this approach is going to be a rough bump approach. We're going to apply 3 topspin with 2 left spin. And then we're going to check our plus yardage at the fringe. So trying to kind of line up as best you can toward the hole. You want to push to the edge of the fringe, basically to the edge of the green, so the top part of the fringe, and see what were we just at? We were at plus 11 yards. All right. So now we're going to back up to the rough with the yellow ring touching the fairway, ball guide through the hole. And we were at plus 11 yards with our fringe check, which would be plus 14 yards with a Grizzly 7 and 8. We're going to play our approach at P5 minus 15% elevation at 79% slider. And that's with Grizzly 9 numbers. Now we center the ball. And we hit perfect. Ball's going to land in the rough, bounce out just short of the green, and then we're gonna roll on with great line, however, a little bit too much speed. So the line is perfect, just a little bit hot and bounce off the pin. So let's go back real quick and check out our initial setup. So if you're looking here, we're about 1, 2, 3.5. I'd probably call that about 3.5 squares through the hole, 3 to 3.5 squares through the hole. So a little bit too hot in that regard. So what I would say is after your initial setup, if you see that the ball guide is pretty far through, I would respin so you're only about 2 squares through the hole, and then hopefully that speed will be a lot better for getting the drop. Again, our line was perfect. We just were too hot and bounced off the pin. So, all right, for further instructions on how to play this hole, make sure you guys click the link below and subscribe to Expert Tournament Guides through Golf Clash Tommy. Good luck in your opening rounds.